Vision to the Black Heaven, Chapter 13. The Jeep crested the hill. Duke saw the headlights of the Humvee coming up the road. "That must be Thor," Duke said. The setting sun turned dark amber as the light started to dip below the horizon. They both rolled up to the trail, then stopped. Thor and Lynette followed Duke to the fork of the road. Thor saw a set of headlights appear and wondered if that was Duke. The Rubicon stopped. Everyone got out and met. Duke saw Lynette and wondered what happened. Thor explained the voices and how he found Lynette. Duke believed that there was a reason why she was here. The sun was going down. Thor saw a set of headlights just over the horizon. He nudged Duke. "We gotta go." Duke smiled. "Follow me." "Wait," Thor barked. "Here." He opened a bag of goodies Weasel had packed for him. He got 2 military radios, handed one to Duke. "Use the standard channel," Thor said. Duke dialed to the secret Special Armed Forces frequency. They waited until the headlights were closer, then Duke radioed Thor. "Follow me." Duke put the Rubicon in 4-wheel drive and drove down the mountain toward the creek. With Thor and Lynette following close, Duke radioed. "Thor, break as many branches as you can. Let's leave them a trail to follow." Lynette was puzzled, but she followed Duke's lead, rolling down her window, grabbing as many branches as she could. Duke went downhill, crossed the creek, and up the other side. The Humvee followed with ease. Then Duke made a big circle and headed back down towards the creek. He crossed the creek again, making another large circle on the other side of the creek, going back up the creek a second time. They stopped in the creek bed to listen. They heard the other pickup struggling to follow the path that they had just made. Duke smiled. They turned off their lights and headed up the creek bed to where there was a large flat rock shore. Duke and Thor easily climbed the rock shore, only leaving wet tire tracks of their presence. Now Lynette looked at Thor and said, "We just made a large figure 8. "Yup," Thor said with a smile on his voice. "They'll be following that trail for weeks, trying to figure out where we went." Lynette just laughed. Duke turned on his headlights, led the 2 vehicles over a stone path to the opening of a strange-looking set of trees. He slowly drove past a large stone pillar. Melody could see the outline of a cabin developing in the distance as the headlights shone on the cabin walls. She remembered how Duke described the cabin. It was built into the mountain. She had a hard time imagining how that could be. Yet, when she saw the house, she understood and saw it was indeed built right into the mountain. The vehicles came to a stop. Everyone got out. Now Lynette watched the men walk back to the vehicles. She noticed that the light was somehow different by the cabin. The light did not reveal the distant horizon like it did when they were driving earlier. It was like there was a border in the way, or the distance was just not there. Something seemed oddly different about this place. The men stopped at the front door. Duke put his supplies on the ground. Lynette looked at the ground in front of the door. She saw a strange-looking mosaic made of stone pieces fitting so closely together there was no apparent seams. Yet the different colors of stones made an interesting picture of a geometrical-looking puzzle. Melody looked at the massive door. It was a single piece of wood, at least 9 feet tall and 5 feet wide. The grain did not look like any type of wood she had ever seen. Duke found the keys from his pocket. Melody gave him a quizzical look as she saw the beauty of the 2 skeleton keys to open the door. Each key was handmade with an elegant amethyst or ruby handle with a black iron shaft, and what looked like a triple prong for the lock's tumblers, and they were about 3 inches long. As Duke put the key into the lock did not accept the key. The key drew the lock into it. Grandpa was a unique man, Duke said. He wanted his privacy and designed these special locks. The keys have to be used exactly the correct way, or they will not open the locks. With a twist of the keys, the lock snapped open, releasing their hold on the door. The door swung open. The evening's fading light flooded the room. Walking inside, Melody thought the room looked larger than what it appeared from outside. Walking into the cabin, Melody expected to smell an aroma of dusty, stale air, but the room smelled of clean, sweet kind of woodsy aroma. Duke found the oil lamp sitting at the table just inside the door. Raising the glass reflector, he snapped his lighter open, putting the flame to the wick. The flame flickered as the lamp came to life. Carrying the lamp to the middle of the room, he placed the lamp in a strange-looking covered glass box hanging from the ceiling. When the lamp was set in the glass box, waves of light and shadows danced in the room, on the floor, ceiling, and walls. The light created a warm feeling to the house. Melody looked at Lynette. They both had a feeling that they were not alone, like somebody was watching them just outside the field of their vision. She could not see them, yet she felt this. This was a presence, a friendly presence. Walking to the door, Duke told Melody, "We need to get some firewood. You girls feel free to look around. It will only be a few minutes." When the men left, the women introduced themselves. "Hi, I'm Melody, a head nurse at the University of Indianapolis Hospital." "I'm Lynette, a professor of physics at the Indiana University." After their introduction, Lynette looked at Melody and said, "What is going on?" Melody laughed. "Yeah, I know what you mean. This has been the most intense and thrilling 2 days of my life." Melody smiled like she was about ready to explode. Her elbows were at her hips, and she flapped her forearms up and down, smiling and squealing. "I have met the most wonderful man in the world." Lynette sat and listened to Melody explain that she went to one high school and Duke went to another in the same town. How she admired him when their schools played sports with each other. Then one day she saw him on a dating site, sent him an email. "After our date, I found out that he was in the service and was best friends with my twin brother Caleb. When Caleb was killed in action, Duke could not get back for the funeral." Then Melody explained the date at the 8-Second Saloon, the drugstore cowboy, spending the night at Duke's house, and he was a complete gentleman. The truck stop, the general store, and how Wilbur attacked them. The confrontation with the Schroeders in the street town square, and how Thor came just in time when the police got there. "Wow," Lynette said. "I guess you have had a couple of full days. That sounds better than a movie." Duke and Thor walked outside the cabin, looking for firewood. Thor asked Duke, "What's going on, buddy?" "Remember Caleb?" "Yeah," Thor said. "Melody is Caleb's identical twin sister. I just found this out today. Melody has the same pictures we have, the ones we gave each other in Desert Storm when we first got there. Remember those fuzzy pictures we took of each other and of ourselves on the first day we arrived? I know it's hard to believe, but look at Melody and imagine her without any hair. I'm telling you, she's Caleb's identical twin." Duke laughed. "Fights like Caleb, too. Boy, she can scrap now." Duke explained the 2 days' events to Thor, the email, the date at the 8-Second Saloon, the truck stop, the bleached blonde, Wilbur and the rusty knife, the general store, how the hillbillies had attacked them, and how Melody whipped her attacker. "Wow," was all Thor could say.